Good morning.
But
Hi,
anyway,
Beth, and hi, Yolanda. How are
good
you?
morning. Good morning.
It's nice to
It's
see
been one
you.
it's been one of those days. No
Has
internet.
it? Yeah.
I told him, I said, you've got to get it up and running before 10 o'clock.
Well, you're up and running.
I am. So how are y'all doing?
Good. How about you?
Doing good. Weather's beautiful here today.
That's nice. That's great. It is here as well. So somewhere in here, there we go. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Lori. How are you all today?
Good, thanks. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing well.
Loving the weather.
I
Yes.
know, right?
We were up in Michigan last week, and we drove home last Friday, and the weather, like spring hit Central Ohio while we were gone. So like everything was in bloom as we drove in because nothing was in bloom in Michigan. And so Diana and I thought like it was all for us, this everything was like a tunnel of blooming trees and flowers as we came back into Columbus. We have a tree in our front yard. We've lived in this house 30 years. We built this house 30 years ago, and all our kids grew up here. And we have this tree in our front yard. It's one of those blooming, I don't know, crabapple or whatever. Anyway, the kids, when they were growing up, nicknamed it the popcorn tree because for about 10 days in the spring, it looks like it's budding popcorn. So I always take a picture of it and send it to my daughters so they could see it. I did that yesterday. Beth, how are you? Hey, you are muted.
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good. Good. Where are you these days?
I'm in Florida right now.
You're in Florida. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Um, and
The
how's
weather's pretty
lacrosse?
good here too.
Yeah, well, of course. And how's lacrosse going with the two boys?
It's good. We're headed your way on May 2nd. The Maryland boys got a bye, so they're going to play in the Big Ten tournament on May 2nd.
Wow, in Columbus?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
wow, okay. That's great. It's probably sold out, but
I don't
good.
know. Tickets are weird. I haven't seen them on sale yet, so I don't know.
Okay. We'll try and get there.
Yeah, I'll text you.
Okay. For everybody's benefit, Beth is a lifelong friend of mine and my wife, Diane, and she's on our board. She's new to our board, and their two sons are both Division I lacrosse players, and one at Maryland and the other at oh shoot, help me out.
Dartmouth.
Dartmouth, yeah, Dartmouth. So anyway, hi Jennifer, how are you? You are
Sorry,
muted.
I was muted. Good. How are
Oh
you?
yeah, good, great, good to see you.
I just left a
Um,
county commission meeting that went really well, so that was good.
yeah, good. So we have a lot to share, but I'll wait to see who else jumps on here. And folks are still coming. Oops, what did I do here? There we go. Oops. And somewhere on here, I just saw her sign in. We have Julie Beatty, who is going to be an area director of our 52nd community in Wadsworth, which is in the greater Cleveland area, our first community in the greater Cleveland area. So super excited to have Julie join us. And yeah, folks are still streaming in here. So I'll just give it another minute or two. So Beth, let's see, I'm looking up here, May the 2nd, huh? That's a Thursday.
Yeah, and then May 4th if they win that for the championship.
Well, of course they'll win that. That's great. Well, we'll be here on the 2nd, so I'll make sure we get down there.
It'd be great to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Okay, I'm gonna give it one more minute. And then we're gonna take some time on this. So, hello? So, so everybody,
What's going on,
you
dude?
know, just wants you to relax and,
I
uh,
did 15. Okay, where?
you know, kind of
Right.
enjoy this presentation.
Huh?
And, you know, if you have any questions, so the way this works is when I start sharing my screen, I can't see you. You guys know that, right? When you share your screen. So just interrupt me. You know, just speak up if there's any questions or anything that you might have or or if there's anything that we want to discuss. The findings are incredibly straightforward. Um, it's so exciting. I just can't wait to share this with you. Um, and I'm so happy that, you know, we Allie, that's great. Well, I hope you get your new camera tomorrow so we can see you.
Okay.
All right. Well, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Folks are still coming in, and good morning. And so pleased to share with you the responses of this
It's fine.
of our advocate survey. We've never done this before. Probably should have done this a few years ago, I guess. But really, this comes from some work that we're doing at the board level to support you to identify more grants, more grant funding, and support. And so, in some of that work, and with some national foundations that we've been working with, you know, they've really inspired us to take a minute and try and answer the question, what does this work mean? We know that at a minimum, engaging the community to drive impact to children in need makes us a better community, right? I mean, it just makes us a place where we want to live and raise our children. But you know, what actually happens when the community comes forward? And so that's the spirit by which we decided to pull this survey together. So with that, oh, wait, before we get started, I want to do some shout outs here. So you're all winning awards. I shared a month or two ago about Etowah County receiving an award from the Chamber of Commerce, and Jennifer's on here. She's amazing. But we have three new award winners here that I wanted to share. Karen Smith, our area director in Sylvania, received the Distinguished Citizen Service Award from Sylvania Township for her work. Leah Aguilar received and I'll probably get the name wrong, but the 2024 Barb Bosu District Award for Volunteerism. She's receiving that. And then our team in New Albany is receiving the Community Connections Award from the city of New Albany as a part of their Founders Day celebration. So that's a big deal, I guess, in New Albany. So I want to congratulate Leah and Karen and our team in New Albany for those designations. So that's just wonderful. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and we'll get going with the survey results. Okay, so I need to bring up somewhere I've got, oh, here we are. Okay, can you all see, can you see a document, it starts with Neighborhood Bridges as a 501c3? Can you all see that document?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is part of my report to you and my report to the board. And we will finalize this. We wanted you to see this first, but so you know, I explained why we decided to do this, and I want to thank folks in the following school districts who helped us put this survey together. In Alabama, Etowah County, Hoover City Schools, Trussville, and Vestavia Hills. and in Ohio, Lakota, Mad River, Miamisburg, and Sycamore. All had people who helped us review and frame our questions, our set of questions, and how this would be presented. I also wanted to let you know that while this was done electronically, we had a CPA that I reached out to who volunteered to independently tally and verify the results of what you're about to see. So we appreciate Eric's work with that. So with that, we'll go ahead and get into it. So the first question was, what is your position in the school district? And so remember, this goes out to all the advocates that you have in your community. So, and the answer will not surprise any of you. 54% of our respondents were school counselors. And by the way, all of this is going to be sent to you. And then 15% were social workers, 3% are mental health specialists, 12% are administrators, principals, or senior staff. Others about 16%. And as I've looked at that, those are also it's a combination of senior school district leaders who didn't identify as administrator, or also in a lot of our communities, we've got third parties serving as advocates, first responders. I know in Westerville, we have our food pantry. And so I know in Dublin, that example exists as well. So that's what comprises other. So that's our mix that we're working with. We're going to sprinkle in comments all the way through here. All the comments were voluntarily given to us. They were not required to respond to either of our open-ended questions. And so here's one from an administrator in Anthony Wayne Schools. There are only advantages to using neighborhood bridges. So that was a nice comment from that administrator. And then from Ardmore Schools, this quote, "We have used neighborhood bridges and honestly changed students' lives. The opportunities, the generosity of others now gives them is remarkable." So that's from a counselor, Yolanda, right there in Ardmore. So thank you. So what school district do you work for? We collected 40 responses from 40 different communities, and here they are in Alabama and Ohio. So really, really happy about that. And you know, it's just we were trying to gain responses in and out of spring break periods, right? Which is why we sent this out once a week over a three week period. So very, very pleased with that. Here's some more quotes. This is from a social worker in Westerville. "Bringing the whole community to serve our students is both beautiful in its simplicity and effectiveness." Amazing that he or she would share that. And so Westerville was the first school district in Ohio. Hoover was the first school district in Alabama. And so here's a comment from a school counselor in Hoover. "I always share with community stakeholders how they can get involved through neighborhood bridges. People want to help, but sometimes don't know how." And that comes from Hoover, Alabama. Question 3 is, how does the number of students who you observe have basic needs today as compared to when you started your career? And, you know, their choices were measurably higher, about the same, or lower. And so what we have found here is that 3/4 of our respondents, and let me back up and tell you that we got 242 completed surveys across those 40 communities. That's a big number. You can run a presidential poll on that kind of number. So 3/4 of our respondents answered either measurably higher or higher. And that's no surprise to any of us, really. But I think this is important to share with the public, with our key stakeholders and our subscribers and folks like that. 20% marked it about the same, and 6% marked it as lower. It's interesting, we are able to do crosstabs on this survey. Crosstabs mean you take a set of data from one column and compare it to another. And it's interesting, in the about the same answer, that 20%, most of those responses came from school districts of very high need. So that's telling me that in some of the communities that we're serving, we've been battling this for some time now. So anyway, so that's the answer. Those are the, let's see, that's question number 3. So we have some more quotes here. This is from Baldwin County. Neighborhood Bridges tops out as one of the best resources available to help students and families. The support provided helps change the trajectory of some students' lives. And that comes from a counselor in Baldwin County. Then from Big Walnut, we got this response from this counselor. I'm able to involve the community in support of our kids. It used to be me running to Goodwill to purchase bras or shoes for preteen in need. Now these students receive something new instead of something used. This helps their self-esteem and allows me to help students since I'm not always digging into my own pockets. Really a thoughtful comment there, one we can all, I think, identify with. So then we move to the most important question in our surveys right here, the next 2, in my view. For public schools, how important is it to address non-cognitive barriers to learning? And so they actually had 5 different choices here, from critically important to very important to important, somewhat important, and not at all important. This response is even surprised me, but we received a 96% response of critically or very important from our advocates, 96%. 4% marked it as important. No one marked it as somewhat important or not at all important. There were zero responses there. But so 96% of the folks who are posting needs have assigned this, and look at critically important. Over 2/3 of our respondents marked it at the highest possible level. 96% are saying this is indeed a priority. So let's sprinkle in a few other quotes here. This is from Bibb County. I'm easily able to ask for help for students in need and not have to spend hours trying to find the resources. That comes from a counselor in Bibb County. They're touching on a theme that we're going to talk about later there. And then from Fairfield, we've recently been able to receive monetary donations to help purchase captain gowns for graduating seniors whose families do not have the ability to purchase them themselves. This is a need that in previous years had not been met due to a lack of resources or sponsors willing to help meet this need. Now with Neighborhood Bridges, we've been able to purchase these for a few students in Fairfield. So really happy about that. Actually, I know that one of the donors is a school district senior member of the school district staff in Grandview, who we just launched, and she found it and contributed to that need in Fairfield. She told me about it. Anyway, so remember, question 4 was how important is addressing non-cognitive barriers to learning? So then we came right behind that and asked this question: how effective has Neighborhood Bridges been in addressing basic needs for your students? And our response is incredible. 74% of our respondents scored this at very effective and 23% as effective. So this is a 97% affirmative response to the earlier question that was graded at 96% importance. So we actually score higher on our ability to address the most important question in the entire survey. 3% marked this as somewhat effective, and 0%, no respondents clicked not at all effective. We will be sharing this with everyone here and thanking them for helping to participate in generating this response. Some more quotes that came in. This is from an administrator in Boaz City Schools in Alabama. This was a great decision for our school district. We can provide students and their families with their needs which in turn helps the students be more successful at school. Appreciate that comment from an administrator there in Boaz. And then Crestwood, one of our newest communities in Portage County, counselor said there, I'm always amazed at the generosity of our community when it comes to fulfilling needs. Well, we are too. We agree with that. So then we moved to a new section of the survey. We broke this into kind of like 4 parts. And the next is where we ask everybody to assign a number rather than pick a response, assign a number from 1 to 10. So this is section number 2. And so question number 6 is, how would you rate the effectiveness of neighborhood bridges addressing basic needs for your most at-risk students and improving their self-esteem and making them feel a more valued member of the school community? Again, this is amazing. 2/3 of our respondents gave this question a score of 9 or higher, 9 or 10. 18% gave it a score of 8. So 67% give us a, from either a 9 or a 10 on that issue. This touches on a theme that runs very strong throughout the survey about how this is impacting these students, not just physically, but emotionally. So more quotes. This comes from Dublin, a mental health specialist in Dublin. This organization is a game changer. There were times earlier in my career where I felt helpless when someone came to me in need of financial support. Neighborhood Bridges has provided me with an invaluable resource and has allowed me to connect families with people who are ready to help them through difficult times. They have come through every time that I've put in a request and has made my job so much more rewarding. Again, several very important and common points that person is making with that quote. And we'll continue to cover that in the results. And then this comes from Elkmont in Alabama. Neighborhood Bridges has helped our community on several occasions. They've helped our students receive shoes, helped pay for caps and gowns for seniors, had a hard time paying for those items, pay for items that our kids here at EES have struggled to get. They're very involved with our food drives and help out with anything we do amongst the community. Social worker, Elkmont Schools. Question 7, how would you rate the effectiveness of Neighborhood Bridges addressing the basic needs for your most at-risk students in reducing truancy? So here's where we see a pattern begin to emerge. Our advocates are a little more unsure about this. Still, 1/3 of advocates give this a score of 9 or higher, our contribution to reducing truancy, and 18% a score of 8. So that's 51%. But I think this is very telling. And let me just continue on with the survey because we're going to see, kind of a separation of, very clearly how our advocates know that we're impacting their students. More quotes here. I'll just go with, we've shared one from both Baldwin County and Dublin, so I'm going to skip over these. Question number 8. How would you rate the importance of Neighborhood Bridges addressing basic needs for your most at-risk students and helping the student engage more in their schoolwork? Again, this is not quite as high as we have seen in the other areas, but still 62% of respondents gave us a score of 8 or higher, 39% a score of 9 or higher. This is about helping the student engage more in their schoolwork. And, I think that what we're seeing is that these kinds of issues are less transactional and more endemic, right? I mean, more, kind of the in what circumstances have you been living in your life over a number of years that may cause this answer to be impacted. Here's a quote from a mental health specialist at Gahanna here in Columbus. I've been able to witness countless times where our district has recognized basic needs that students are not provided, and Neighborhood Bridges has stepped up and helped with community connections and making sure these needs are being met. That alone removes a ton of barriers and allows for more present thinking for our students. Again, common themes here, several in that comment. And then another counselor from Hoover City Schools, I always share with community. Oh, we've already, that's redundant. My bad. We'll fix that. Question number 9. How would you rate the importance of neighborhood bridges addressing basic needs for your most at-risk students and gaining more trust from the student or family so they will seek more assistance if needed? This is where it spikes again. The numbers go up. The counselors and social workers are saying 2/3 are saying 9 or higher. You're making a difference. The work here is helping us serve those students and families more comprehensively. Another 20% gives us a score of 8 or higher. That's 86%. So that gets up there with those previous questions that we asked about. And so again, the pattern emerges and is confirmed that, and we'll just keep going. Here's a comment from a counselor in King's Local School here in Cincinnati area. Our CIS food pantry has been fully stocked thanks to donations from families. Read about our need from neighborhood bridges. As a counselor, it allows me to help knock down those academic barriers our at-risk students have. I greatly appreciate how easy it is to make requests, and I'm blown away by the generosity of our community. Then we have a comment from a social worker in Tuscaloosa. When a donor who usually provides codes for multiple students did not provide, Neighborhood Bridges set up a special link for people to specifically donate money for that need. We were able to get codes for about 80 students. Question 10, how would you rate the importance of Neighborhood Bridges addressing basic needs for your most at-risk students and helping to improve their performance in the classroom? So this one falls back not as high as some of the other areas. Still, 70% of our respondents graded that as an 8 or higher, almost 3/4. 46% at 9 or higher, 24% at 8 or higher. So I kind of compare this to the earlier question about truancy and stuff like that, in comparison to feeling their mental health is being addressed, their self-value, their esteem is being addressed. They feel more comfortable coming forward. Those areas are scoring higher. A counselor in Lakota Schools, this program is amazing at helping all students with needs. So love that. Mad River, social worker, being able to utilize neighborhood bridges allows me to spend more time working with students and families directly rather than having to spend time fruitlessly seeking available resources. It also allows me to build trust with families, provide them with tangible evidence about what an important part of the community they are. This is amazing. This quote, this social worker is summarizing the results through his or her own experience. That right there is the summary of the survey, put in words by that social worker. Question 11, how would you rate the importance of neighborhood bridges addressing basic needs for your most at-risk students and helping to improve their overall mental health? Again, we spike, we go back up again. 53% assign us a grade of 9 or higher, and 21% 8 or higher. So 3/4 of our respondents say that we are effective, we're making a difference in improving the overall mental health of their students. I'm gonna skip over these. Oh, here's Sycamore. We have Sycamore in here, so let me share this one. A student had a parent in a different country who was waiting on his visa to be approved. Having a single income put a strain on the family. Bridges was able to cover the cost of groceries and childcare. I still get thanked for assisting them during such a tough time. The parent's visa was eventually approved and Daddy came home in a flying robot, an airplane. That comes from a counselor in Sycamore Community Schools. Amazing. Question 12. How would you say the work of Neighborhood Bridges has reduced your burden and time in seeking solutions for students? Again, goes way up here. Definitely a main thread, a main message coming through here is 75% of our advocates, our school counselors and social workers are saying, you're reducing my burden and time in serving the students. Another 13% gave it a score of 8. So that's 88% affirmative. Again, it's just the clarity that we're getting here on these kinds of issues, I think are going to be extremely helpful to us as we continue to serve, and most importantly, as we seek new partnerships, new support, and we message to our communities, right? This response from our advocates is a gift to this organization. Here's New Albany. Neighborhood Bridges is immediately responsive with any need. This makes all the difference when our students have needs that depend on a quick turnaround time to get the resources they need. That comes from a counselor in New Albany schools. And then in Walker County, a counselor says, what means the most to me is to see the hope light up the eyes of families in need. Life is very overwhelming when there seems to be little or no hope. And with some of the needs being met, a measure of hope is restored. Hitting on those themes again, aren't they? Question 13. How would you rate the importance of neighborhood bridges addressing basic needs for your most at-risk students? So since this was the most important question in the survey, we asked it 2 different ways. That's common and, and how you measure. And again, it's off the charts. 75% gave us a score of 9 or higher. 13% gave us a score of 8 or higher. That's 88%. And so we're grateful for that. Here's a comment from Olentangy Schools. Social worker, Bridges has allowed me to spend more time focusing on the mental health needs of students as food insecurity has increased in my building. Absolutely. And then this is a long one. Southwest Licking Schools, but I think this is in Central Ohio. I think it's worth sharing. There are several stories I could share about how Neighborhood Bridges has impacted my students in my district, but 2 that come readily to mind involve a family of 5 and a singular student. The family of 5 was experiencing homelessness when both husband and wife lost their jobs during COVID and got behind in bills. Neighborhood Bridges helped pay for a week at the hotel and bought clothing for the 2 school-age boys and pull-ups for the toddler. This allowed the boys to have clothes that fit, help mom and dad have more time to get into the Salvation Army's family unit. The other story that comes to mind is about a high school girl who needed bras. She had one and she admitted she stole that over a year ago. She lives with her dad and sister, but they didn't have a lot of extra money for things like bras and clothes. When I submitted a request for bras, my neighborhood contact reached back out and asked about her clothing sizes. Not only did they get her bras, but leggings and sweatshirts, and there was enough for her and her sister. It was awesome to see her in the hall smiling with her new clothes on. Neighborhood Bridges went above what I asked for and provided self-esteem. They saw my student through compassion and not judgment. Really thank that social worker there in Southwest Licking. Question number 14. How would you rate the effectiveness of Neighborhood Bridges in assisting you in serving more at-risk students? I didn't know what kind of response we could get on this one. And look, it goes off the page. 75% of our school district advocates are saying, you're allowing me to serve more students. And 17% give us a score of 8. It's 92%. We did not create Neighborhood Bridges necessarily towards this point. We were hopeful that this would occur. Our mission is to serve students, but this is a very important point that we will share loudly many, many times over, is not only are community members driving impact to students, but through our methods, they are increasing the value of our school district counselors and social workers. This is a phenomenal response here. Licking Heights counselor, I work with a family in the district consisting of 8 children in the home, and parents are very low income. Students were desperately in need of shoes. Neighborhood Bridges was able to get the shoes for the 5 school-age children. When the students came to school wearing their new shoes, they were so excited and showing them off to everyone. I could see how thankful the parents of the children were as well. And then Perrysburg, counselor, I would definitely recommend using this system. It's easy and anonymous. Thank you. Question number 15. The resources received through Neighborhood Bridges has improved my students' overall mental health. Again, Very strong response. Now, this is section 3. We've gone back to, statements. Which statement do you agree with? We've left the numeric. We've gone back to this. And so 43% said very true, 48% said true. That's 91% affirmative. Again, very strong response when it's a question geared towards the students and the students' overall mental and physical wellness. This is where we are achieving at the highest level. Here's an advocate, Sylvania City Schools, with a large support system in place. Advocates, donors, and the community alike, Neighborhood Bridges can and has changed lives for the better. Counselor at Upper Arlington Schools here in Ohio, this is an invaluable resource. I don't use it as often as I should, as I use Neighborhood Bridges as a last resort if I can't meet my students' need in our school community. Question number 16, Neighborhood Bridges has helped me to develop more meaningful and trusting relationships with my students. Again, good response here. 43% said very true, 38% said true. So really building on that relationship between the advocate and the student, and so that we can serve them more holistically. Interesting that there was an 8% not true there. Very honest response on that question. We've already done Westerville, so we'll cover this from, here's an administrator in Winfield Schools in Alabama. Neighborhood Bridges has helped numerous families in our community. It also helped the community get involved with our school system. Neighborhood Bridges has enlightened our community members on the needs of students in our district. This is a very important point, and a question's coming up about that. Neighborhood Bridges has helped me to develop more meaningful and trusting relationships with families. This gets even higher. 50% of our respondents say very true and 40% say true. So 90% affirmative response here that we are able, our advocates are forming a closer bond through their work with Neighborhood Bridges with these families. It's just ideal. Worthington City Schools Counselor, Neighborhood Bridges is such a blessing. Thank you. Miamisburg City Schools, please get connected. This is a very valuable partnership. It also helps you serve your students without putting all the burden on you. Administrator, Miamisburg. Question number 18. Our Neighborhood Bridges program has increased community involvement with the school and the school district. I mentioned this point that there was a quote about this earlier, I think in Winfield, school principal. Look at this. Very true, 53%, true, 38%, 91% affirmative. This is definitely in the methods of Neighborhood Bridges. We have intentionally designed our service model around full community engagement, and our advocates are saying loudly that it is working. So this is wonderful. Very pleased with that response. Lebanon, Administrator Lebanon, here in Ohio, our district social worker utilizes Neighborhood Bridges all the time, and she does. I know her well. Often she is the one to make the connections. I have several students who have been supported, glasses, bike, furniture, and bed, all wonderful stories. Here's a comment from Kent, Ohio. Counselor, it's incredibly easy to use and needs are filled very quickly. I've not had a need go unfilled in the 2 years I've been working with them. Neighborhood Bridges' ability to source larger and sometimes expensive items that student needs, furniture, installation of accessibility items in the home of a student with disabilities is quite impressive. I've spent considerably less money out of my own pocket to provide students with things like school supplies and hygiene items because Neighborhood Bridges has been able to source these items for me constantly and quickly. Counselor at Kent City Schools. Jasper City Schools, Counselor, do it. It's a game changer. For all the times that you felt you were on your own trying to meet the needs of students, Neighborhood Bridges is the missing piece. It saves time, brings together community, and meets the needs. Again, hitting all the themes that our survey is proving to us here. Here's the story of Etowah County. We had a few kids who were quickly moved in with their grandmother. Grandma was food insecure So he posted needs asking for gift cards to help feed the two boys. Within an hour or two, the community had donated several $100s so we could purchase food gift cards. Our social worker was able to get the much needed assistance to the grandmother by lunchtime. She shared that the boys asked if they could have homemade sloppy joes for dinner. The community made the request come true. Jennifer shared that story in a room full of people, and I think raised about $15,000 on that story alone from supporters, from mayors and banks in the room. Question number 19, how often do you utilize neighborhood bridges to fill needs? Every time I have a need, 1 to 2 times a week, 1 or more times per month, so on and so forth. 43% post every time they have a need. Almost 1 in 2. 2% do it 1 to 2 times per week, and 16% post 2 or more times per month. So that is 60%, over 60% are doing this several times a month, if not every time or weekly. So this is great. 1% said they don't use neighborhood bridges. So we'll look into that one. But again, this is nice because we're here to serve based upon the resources that are available in a community. So many times neighborhood bridges might be that final step that we use. But I found this very interesting and pretty encouraging to see the usage. I think we all know that the more people post, the more people give, right? It's all about keeping them engaged. Here's a wonderful story. We're reaching the end here. Wonderful story from Tuscaloosa County I wanted to share. Through neighborhood bridges, I've seen, I think that's a typo. I've seen numerous needs that have created lasting, meaningful impacts. There were numerous students and families experience poverty with many factors exacerbating their struggles, rural locations, lacking reliable transportation, lacking stable housing, etc. At a previous school, I was connected with a washer and dryer unit to permanently place in our gym. There were many students who did not have access to a washer and dryer at home. With the washer and dryer donation, we were able to provide support to parents and students and ensure that the students in need could come to school feeling clean, comfortable, and confident. We were able to build strong relationships with the families, mitigate impacts on esteem and comfortability, and ensure school attendance. That was huge. Social worker, Tuscaloosa County, to be continued. We're going to come back to her in a minute, or him. So this was a fun question. How would you rate the accessibility performance of neighborhood bridges? Check any or all that apply. So they could check anything here. They didn't have to check more than one, just whatever they felt they wanted to respond to. 2/3 of our advocates posted it's so easy. Check that box. 61% said this is a game changer for my students. 77% of our respondents said this reduces my time in identifying resources. Same theme. I love this. 20%. Now remember, let's go back. We got a 97% affirmative score that we are hitting our mission, right? Earlier, 97%, yet 20% of our respondents think that their school district should place a higher priority on neighborhood bridges. They want to do more. That's exciting to me. I like that. No one responded that they don't see much benefit in neighborhood bridges. We had a 0% response there. Back to, I'm going to skip that. I think we've done enough comments. Let me just give you a summary here, and then we can talk about anything you want to talk about related to the survey. We got 244 advocates completed our survey from 40 communities. We did not require respondents to identify themselves. We asked them to tell us, are you a counselor or a social worker or principal or something like that? We did not ask them to identify themselves, so they gave answers in the blind here. We did require respondents to identify their school district because we just wanted to know in case we wanted to do any crosstabs. And then that question back, about 20% of the advocates want to see their school districts assign a higher priority. We're going to look those up for you and contact those communities where that response is coming from. Results will be reported in the aggregate, as I've just showed you. Working with Eric, our CPA, we tested 5 communities in Ohio and 5 in Alabama. The results yielded everything was within 1% of the overall response. So there is no need to separate this data. And our CPA has signed off on that. So the results will go out as I've just presented those to you in the aggregate. This indicates broad-based success in serving school communities despite wide variances in student enrollment, free and reduced lunch percentage, or geography. So from, Northeast Ohio all the way to Mobile Bay, and all parts in between, the results are the same. Our missions and methods scale here is what we're learning, or we're confirming. The highest responses were tied directly to our own mission, which is very exciting for my board members on here. 96% again, importance assigned to addressing non-cognitive barriers to learning, and 97% said you're doing it. You all are doing it. The community's doing it through Neighborhood Bridges. Advocates were consistent in giving higher scores to addressing basic needs and addressing overall wellness of the student, including feeling valued and accepted, feeling better about themselves, improving trust and building relationships between the students, families, and advocates, right? We saw that repeatedly in our response and in all of those quotes that I shared with you. It's amazing how in aligned really all of us are, despite the geographical differences. We see a theme that Neighborhood Bridges is assisting in reducing the workload of staff, school staff, allowing school staff to spend more time on students, allowing school staff to spend more time with other students, the ease and convenience of Neighborhood Bridges, and the immediate and continued response of community members all help. This is wonderful. Again, we did not set out, this was not the mission of Neighborhood Bridges, but we hoped that this would happen. And we're seeing it in spades throughout the entire document. Increasing community engagement in our mission and with the schools. Very loud yes response to that. We are engaging community members. While 97% of, I just covered this, respondents gave the impact of Neighborhood Bridges a dramatic score of success, 20% of our respondents want their schools and community to do more with us. We will pursue that. That's why we're doing this. We're going to do it everywhere. Issues of classroom performance, attendance, engagement are tougher data points to measure through the lens of Neighborhood Bridges. So we'll continue to think about that and see if there are other data sources or methods that we can achieve there. And this is fine. This is helpful to us. Any answer is good or helpful. Let's put it that way. But I don't know how you felt, but I felt aligned that those numbers were a little less sure about than we are the other numbers. The 2 open-ended questions were not required, and yet our response rate was 89% on question 1 and 94% on question 2. Our advocates volunteered their time to share their comments. They didn't have to do that. They were eager to do it. In fact, we have a way of tracking how much time it took each respondent to fill out their survey. They spent more time on those 2 questions, sending their responses, than they did answering the 20 questions, multiple choice questions. Individual responses to the open-ended questions will be provided to each community. So what we got from each community on the response side, the open-ended questions, we're going to give that to you and help message that in each community. So next steps. Well, I'm right on it. I was hoping to get done at 1:45. So let me do this real quickly. We are going to send this to you. We're going to publish this. We're going to hang it on the website. We're going to strongly encourage you to share these results with your school district leaders and your steering committee members. We will help you do this. And we will be available at any time when you want to meet with school district leaders or your steering committees. We will be there. We will participate. And if we can't be there, we'll do it by Zoom. And we are going to release this through Constant Contact to all of our subscribers and our advocates. We will publish the findings globally. We're going to issue a press release about this along with the results. I just covered this, but we're going to present this data to everybody in the group through Constant Contact. And again, one of the things we wanted to do is strengthen our message to potential sponsors and grantors who are asking these questions. And we feel that we're in a much stronger position than we were a month ago, having this data. We want to present this data to the school counselor associations in Ohio, Alabama, nationally. We could use your help with that. We'd like to share this with them. We'll do the work if you all can help us make the connections. We have a very strong connection here in Ohio because we presented last year. But we want to go back to these groups and present our findings. And then we will submit articles to national, local publications. We're going to work on that list. If you have any ideas of who we could submit these findings in an article to, it basically would be an executive summary and then the data. Just let us know and we will do that. Or we'll give you the tools to do it. And so that's it. I went 2 minutes over. And I just what do you all think? What are any comments or questions, any concerns, or just anything that you'd like to ask while we're here together, or any reactions at all?
It's awesome. We need someone to comment, right?
Yeah.
I love hearing
Yeah,
that.
I'm super excited about this.
I love how it
These
takes the
results are
load off,
amazing.
the load off of those social workers and the, like, you know how much it helps the kids, but hearing how much it takes the load off of them, I thought that's
Yeah.
super impactful. I never really thought about that part.
Yeah, and it is, Julie, and I think that if I might, I think the conclusion we can make is that by serving students through Neighborhood Bridges, it allows staff to serve more students. It's a multiplier. And I don't think we've ever used that language in the 7.5 years. I don't think we've ever drilled down on that note, but it's coming through in spades on the survey. And I'm certainly very happy about it.
I just wanted to say, that I think the data is going to be very helpful for corporate sponsorship and grants and those types of things. But speaking to the question about the truancy, I know that we have seen such an impact, I think, because we do early warning, what's called early warning here in our system, where the students and the families come in and we ask them, what are the impediments to school attendance? Why are you, what's going on? And I promise you about 8 out of 10 times it's we don't have a vehicle, or the power was shut off, or we're homeless. And so that's how Neighborhood Bridges has really worked for us. So I think driving that point home to a lot of these school systems who are obligated by the state departments to improve attendance because it impacts their state report cards. I just think that's something that, really needs to be highlighted because it has benefited us so much in that area.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, for those comments. And, my board, I don't know if Brent's on here, but my board is always on me that I'm a bit too critical of myself about this work. And maybe I'm being a little bit too critical about it, but, it's interesting how we can see, I think, in the data, there's a very strong alignment with, I would say, what I would refer to as the holistic approach to the child, right? I think anything that address that topic, we kind of fly off the chart on those answers, but that's a very thoughtful response that you just provided to us. So anybody else have anything that anybody wants to ask or respond to? I see Lane on here from Bibb County. Lane, I think you just joined, but these results are going to go out to everybody. And
Mr. Rick, I had written down 11 o'clock. I'm sorry.
That was
you're
Eastern
okay.
time.
You were correct. It was 11 Eastern. My bad. It's it's 11 a.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Central, and that gets us every time. So, but the results are coming, and Lane, I want to thank you. The response in Bibb County, you're one of our newest communities, has truly been amazing what you're doing there.
It's-
And
It's
I
been
would
great
say,
for our community. Great for our community.
well, I would say that it ties hand in glove to Judge Kemmer and the way she pulled together all the key stakeholders in the county have given us a leg up there, and you're really doing it right. Hey, let me just share this with you real quick. I meant to do this in the beginning, and I forget things. I'm not very good. Top community responses. I just thought you'd be interested in this. This is not a competition. I found this very interesting because the 10 communities who sent us the highest responses, 5 are from Alabama, 5 are from Ohio. Baldwin County, top response. The most responses. No surprise, they're the largest school district we serve in Alabama. They're the largest. Listen to this though. Second highest is Mad River. Now, Mad River is a small school district. Well, small compared to Westerville where I grew up. They had to say, like, every advocate in their system answered this survey in Mad River. Third was Sylvania, also not one of our larger school districts. Westerville was fourth. Westerville's pretty large. Dublin was fifth. Dublin's larger than Westerville, or pretty close size. Tuscaloosa County, sixth. Tuscaloosa City, seventh, highest. Bibb County, eighth, highest. And they're brand new, but they jumped all over this. Hoover, Alabama was ninth, and Olentangy, the largest school district that we serve in Ohio, was 10th. But we've got a lot of great sponsors across your communities. We feel, I don't know, I'm energized about this. And who else has anything they want to ask or challenge, or there's a question down here. Let us know how many people responded. Yes, in your individual communities, I will do that, Lori. And Kelly has to jump off, but I saw you taking notes, Kelly. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, can I do some quick marketing comments? I want to make sure we're done with this part though.
Yeah.
Okay, so something that we talk about pretty much everything. Make sure you like the Neighborhood Bridges organizational page, please. Also, very important, tag us on anything when you have pictures, when you have not your needs. We don't need those posts, but like if you're doing drives, anything like that, we use those images to share to the page. It is really, that page is all about what the organization is doing. There are some people that are very, very good on it. If you don't post it, either Rick will send me an email that says, hey, Renee, did you see this post? One of us is trying to catch everything.
Yeah.
So please, it really is helpful. One of the other things that we are doing on our end is we want to show you what we are doing, not just talk about it. We want real pictures. We want real images of you guys. Rick had mentioned before, something that has been happening a lot. You guys, a lot of people are getting awards. So we want to recognize you for getting awards. So we want to do a shout out to everyone, like that you guys are winning this stuff, that we are involved in the community. We're not just part of our little advocate, we're affecting the whole community. Also, 2 other things. A lot of people are asking for graduation card drives, 24 for 24. If you guys are interested, just send me a quick email, Linda and I, and we will update those and send them out to you. Very easy to update. We already have the template created. And then if anyone's doing summer gift card drives, just things I want you guys to think about. People are starting, I've had a couple requests, that they're already putting out. The needs don't stop just because it's summertime. So we want to go ahead and be able to create that for you and get it to you guys in a timely manner. I mean, we've got a month basically till schools are out. So just some things to think about. We did add a ton of images to the shared drive for the graphic images. And please, any images you guys have or want, you can always reach out to Linda and I, and we try to do a 24-hour turnaround. So, so those are just kind of some housekeeping things that I just want to remind you about, but really the tagging is very, very important to us. So, okay, that was it. If you guys ever need Linda and I, you can always email us, call us,
Yeah.
text us.
I see Amy Jeff's on here. I don't know how many of you guys know her, but she's the president of Status Solutions, our national sponsor. I sent them a late note this morning because I've been working on this like nonstop. And I apologize, I'm so late in thinking about this, but you're invited to join us. So Amy, thanks for joining us today. And we'll give your team the full results, but so nice that you could jump on and hear some of this. We're inspired by what the advocates have said back to us.
Absolutely. I apologize. I had another call and that ran over. And so I apologize for sneaking in late, but my heart is warmed by hearing not only, and I think somebody made this comment earlier, in terms of kind of the work that we do from a safety perspective, ensuring that teachers in the classroom have the support that they need, to alleviate the counselors, what Neighborhood Bridges is doing to alleviate some of their needs from identifying resources perspective, so that they can focus on, early intervention and some of the other things that, that we see a lot, especially from a mental health perspective, behavioral health, and some of the things that we're seeing that are, obviously our schools are in need of more so now than they ever have been. And so Neighborhood Bridges, as a part, obviously, of that whole sense of making not only a school, but a community safe and sound, is heartwarming. So thanks for including us on
Yeah,
this.
thanks for jumping on. I always enjoy seeing you.
Course.
Anybody else have any comments or complaints or just reactions that you want to share? Got a couple of minutes.
This is Julie from Wadsworth, and we are just beginning our soft launch journey here this summer, and just seeing the survey results is very encouraging. Our community is already very supportive of our school district, but we're also going to have advocates in our from our senior center, senior citizen center, who are going to be a part of our journey too. So we're looking to serve our entire community. So just very encouraging results, and looking forward to getting involved and being a part of this.
Thank you, Julie. I'm excited you're on here. Julie is like Kelly, who just jumped off from Lakota. Julie is, I think, a current board member in Wadsworth,
Yes.
like Kelly is in Lakota. So anyway, I see Lee's here, and Kathleen, Laura. I hope that you've enjoyed this. Jessica and Morgan, Allison, Linda from New Albany. We have Lynn, our accountant, is on here. Lynn Kinney has joined us today, and we're just terribly grateful. We've got good data now. I think we structured this correctly. We took our time with it. Great thanks to that group that I mentioned in the beginning to help us develop the survey. And you're just going to see this a lot now. We're going to talk about this repeatedly, weekly, daily, help you, get behind you, as we always do, as you ask for engagement from your community. So I shared that plan with you. We will be sending this out to you. We got to make it a little nicer. That's what I showed you is just what I typed out. So Linda and Renee are working with me on that, and we will make it more professional and unRick-like, and then we'll put it out to everybody. So thanks a million. I hope you've enjoyed this. I sure have enjoyed sharing this with you and just getting to spend this time with everybody. So thanks for what you're doing. Really appreciate it. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you.